And we're recording. Welcome back, everyone. I've got a special guest with me today. I got Ryan Stover from the Uncomplication channel. Ryan, you can say hi.
Hello.
Hello. You're welcome. Ryan's details will all be in the description down below. I strongly suggest go and follow Ryan. There's a lot more conversation that's more than just about cryptocurrency. But basically, I reached out to Ryan. I love his channel. It's always a good, deep conversation. And he thought we were filming just a little bit earlier. We had a lot of good stuff to talk about. But the main things that I want that we're digging into were around, say, the secrets of the market, why things happen, and more importantly, like, why are we doing what we're doing? Would you say that's kind of like what we
Wow,
were
that's an
discussing?
existential question right there. Why are we doing what we're doing? Everyone clear your
Yeah.
calendars. This is gonna be a long one.
Yeah, we definitely have to clear it. I've got acupuncture in a few hours, but we'll
Yeah.
get there. Essentially, it's a conversation. I felt like when I was chatting with you then, why I reached out, it's kind of those conversations that you want to have with other people about life, about crypto, about why we're doing the things that we do. But many of us don't have those other people to reach out to, which is why we turn to YouTube and try to look for that, I don't know, that connection.
Hmm.
So it's definitely going to be different from just let's open up charts and find the next 100x altcoin, because that can get pretty dry really quickly. It's not really a purpose in
Yeah.
life.
So it is funny because we just had like I don't know, half an
Half an
hour
hour?
conversation that felt pretty good, and then you're like, hey, we should start recording. So we'll
I'm
have to
so sorry.
we'll recapture some of that magic, but I'll just start the ball rolling by sharing a little bit of story, I guess, because it's remarkable that the two of us are here talking. My journey to be here on your channel involves sort of an unexpected crash into the YouTube sphere in the first place. So I never set out to be a crypto YouTuber.
It
I was
almost seems
just,
like from the outside, we're from two completely opposite ends of the YouTube crypto spectrum when I look at it.
yeah. So, I mean, my story is that I got really heavily into crypto in early 2020 when things were taking off. I had bought crypto before that. I had a friend who was really into crypto trading for years and years and was always trying to get me to buy. And I had some Ethereum in a wallet, and it wasn't until I opened it up in, like, I guess, February of 2020 that it was up and I was really interested. And I had just left the company that I started, and I had worked there for 10 years. And so now I had all this free time, and I was like, all right, crypto, this is cool. I've seen this before. I'm going to put in the time. I'm going to learn how to trade this. And I just tumbled down the rabbit hole. Before I knew it, I was watching hours and hours of videos, and I was, digging into courses and learning how to trade and getting into trading and doing pretty well at it. I mean, everyone was doing well when the market was going up and up. All you had to do was, throw a dollar at something and it was turning into $2, $10. So we all felt incredibly smart. And I started connecting with other friends that were into crypto. And we just, it's the type of thing where if you had two crypto people in a room full of normal people, those two people's conversation would be so loud and obnoxious, everyone else would be like pushing them out the door. Because it's like, meth heads just like going on about this addiction
It
that they
reminds me
had.
when I was vegan.
Vegan? Yeah. So
That was the conversation for us. But yeah. Same thing with
yeah,
crypto.
so I mean, and then getting into some of the personalities in the space, and I found myself, when I go to the grocery store, I'm I'm comparison shopping between like a few cents on cereal boxes, right? Yet here I am watching some like 20-year-old kid making predictions about some altcoin I've never heard about, and I'm throwing down like thousands of dollars, and it's like, wait a minute, what is going on here? How can rational, fiscally responsible adults all of a sudden be, selling body parts just to put more money into crypto? And that was the environment. It was fun. It was heady. It was exciting. And then I had my first correction. I had my first moment where, in the morning, I was just on cloud nine and I was buying all of these things. And then price that afternoon turned around, and all the people, all my friends, were freaking out and like, oh shit, was that it? Was that the top? Was that the end of the bull run? And we go to the
Was this
same YouTuber.
2021 or 2020?
Oh, I'm sorry, 2021. Yeah. So last year.
Yeah. Okay. So February
So
2021,
yeah,
you
so
opened this
it
Ethereum
was that
wallet.
first kind of first kind of correction before we did the distributive top. And I just remember sitting there in my car, looking at all of these assets that I had bought, and now they're starting to go down, and that panic impulse to then sell them. A minute ago, I thought this was the most valuable thing on the planet, and now I'm scared to actually sell them at a loss. So that psychology, like, I remember the feeling, and just, how can this be? How can these same people that were telling me this was the most valuable thing in the world, now when I go to YouTube, everything is red warning signs and blinking lights, and oh, it's panic and pandemonium, and the fear and greed index is in fear. And so I think I had pretty early this like shock that the narrative as we get it is not all that's happening here. And just as a novice trader, like, it's so easy to learn the language, to learn some basic TA. Oh, I've got my trading view, I'm drawing some fib retracements, and I think I know everything, and I'm educating other people. And half of what I see on YouTube are just people that have these basic, vocabularies, and like, it's not hard to become an expert in crypto and then to be propagating that message. And so then, I mean, in the telling of this story and why it ties into the type of content that I've been sharing, is we got to a certain point after months of just this grueling up and down and making our way to all-time highs, and people are still saying, the Plan Bs and the Willy Woos are all predicting, $220,000 Bitcoin by, July, and everyone's still kind of FOMOing in, but it's just the market is struggling. And every time we go through one of these dips, that sentiment has an effect, so that my friends that were so into it were now like, I'm not sure. And then, as we all know, we had a huge catastrophic crash in, what was it, May or April of
we had one in
2021.
April. Yeah.
And so, in that time period, I saw on, it was Chris, the Crypto dude. He came on late at night. Yeah. I was watching him, man. I was watching him a lot. I mean, he had that excitement.
How did you find him? And you're a rational dude. I've joked with this when I do a podcast with Eric, another friend. He's in Finland. I'm like, I don't understand how anyone takes that seriously. But we've come from trading backgrounds of over 10 years. And we're like, we can see black
But here's
and white.
the thing, when you get off the boat on Crypto Island, and that is the first video that's being served to you because it's getting 1 million likes and it's got all the exclamation points, and like, there's some part of you that is willing to suspend disbelief because price is going up. This dude is explaining why, he's showing you charts, and it's being served to you. And I think he is a good trader. I think that the things that he is thinking and saying and doing are, like, he has experience too. But this is what we were talking about before we started recording, is that what people don't understand getting off the boat on Crypto Island is that people like Chris are also making a killing in this market just by being kind of celebrities here. They have affiliate links in their descriptions that they're getting kickbacks. They're making tons of ad revenue. The more videos that they put out, the more sensational, the more clicks, the more eyeballs they're getting fed. So the platform itself, YouTube, this whole sphere, is kind of bending these creators to be more over the top, more extreme, more sensational. And when the market's going up and they're telling you, oh, we're hitting a W pattern and we're going to bounce, and it's like, oh shit, he's crazy, but he might be right. And oh, there goes price, and I'm going to follow. So anyway, he's the one that I watched. And I told BitBoy Crypto this when I was on his show early in this whole unfolding. Like, I did not discover the Wyckoff distribution. Richard Wyckoff discovered Wyckoff distributions in the early 20th century and decoded how and why the market moves and who the big operators are and how they play this game to take an asset from a low price point and then, rocket it to the moon with a big narrative. And then a distribution is they're selling that holding that they have at the highest price possible over the longest period possible before driving the price back down by scaring everybody away from it, so that those same operators can buy it back and repeat the cycle. And that's just market. That's just what a market is. That is like a pure essence of how markets have been used to get retail investors to come in droves to the next big stock craze. And the smart operators who are there years in advance, like it's not surprising. It's not new. Anyway, I saw that video, and Chris posted it, and it's funny. He had like the chart backwards. He was all spun up. He was trying to explain it. It wasn't a very good description, but like I had heard Wyckoff. What's this Wyckoff? I went and started researching it. I started, marking up my own chart. I started, reading everything that I could on it. And there in the middle of crypto, this beautiful, it's almost like a religion, right? The decentralized people's currency. There is a textbook Wyckoff distribution that had just happened where, I mean, it is the textbook. And that to me was like a religious fallout. I went from being such an evangelist and an advocate for crypto, for Bitcoin, for this vision of the future. And I realized that this is a market. A lot of people are about to get really hurt. I was fortunate enough that I saw Chris's video. I decoded this thing. I put it on YouTube a month before anyone even found it. So I sold. I was calling up my mom and everyone else who I had got to buy all this crypto and like, sell now. It's a trap, right? It's a trap.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the thing goes over the cliff, and we have this whole kind of dystopian period of everyone. I heard so many stories of loss and heartache and people who had overextended themselves so much that now their lives were, very disturbed, if not shattered, by this this market, this narrative. And then, sure enough, these are all cycles, and we had, smaller accumulations, smaller distributions. And so, this is a long rant, but basically I came into this space as an outsider, as just like a person that likes people and likes conversations and likes these deeper values. And I saw what I thought it was, and then I saw what it really was. And at that point, if I was doing anything, it was just coming on and sharing those perspectives and encouraging people to ask that question: what do you really value in your life? Because that's what brings us to crypto. That's why it's such a mixing bowl of people from all over the world, different ages, sexes, genders, nationalities. We're all coming to this space because it provides hope. It provides personal opportunity to change our lives, to escape the jobs that we don't like working, to follow in the footsteps of all of these easy millionaires that we get those stories all the time. And so it's bringing together this really interesting assortment of people. But I think the value is not in that we're all going to get rich overnight from crypto. It is, in my opinion, an opportunity to come together and to ask these deeper questions about, why am I after these millions? What do I really need in my life to be satisfied? Is it more money? And those are the conversations that I've had so much of in the crypto garden and on YouTube. And I mean, if you read the comments of a lot of my videos, we're not talking about crypto. People are sharing, their stories and their life experiences. And I'm, pen pals now with people all over the world. Like it has very little to do with crypto. It has everything to do with humanity and experience. And so, yeah, in a nutshell, I mean, I knew that you were going to ask me, like, what do I think Price is going to do next? And I think that we should stop asking that question, and we should really anchor into, why is Price going to move?
I totally agree.
Why?
It's the why. When we come to this space, there's a why that we want, but I've noticed that the way people connect then is like, I want more money. It's like, you haven't thought about that question deep enough. Like, why do you want more money? Oh, to buy a house, help my family. Like, try, keep going. But that's kind of like the outside. And the way I've looked at it is, you want to inspire on the outside, because, like we were talking just earlier, I was doing a lot more content. Like, I've been on YouTube for years and years and years and years. And I was always just giving my soul, my heart, everything when it came to the content. And even through that period of the market going up in early 2021, I got videos on the channel selling that April, 3 days after that April top as it crashed, got that. And then I also got May, and I went on Cryptos R Us at that time in the May top. So I'm going to different stories here. And I could see the same thing. I'm like, there's so much energy here. The market's not going up. You got your Wyckoff pattern, but I look heavily into Gann swings. Wyckoff interviewed Gann in the day because Gann was the trader, and Wyckoff was, really interested in how he did it. And you could see this big lower top forming. And I'm like, that's pretty crazy. My brother, also a trader, he's been going consistently 12 years. That's his job. It's like, you get a lower top with extreme greed. That's even higher greed than the previous top. that's a really strong signal that the market's about to absolutely tank. And so, we're looking at this going, okay, maybe it doesn't because there's so much excitement. But to take some risk off the table, let's get rid of all the shit coins, the really speculative stuff, and just in case, Bitcoin and ETH, let's just hold that. Obviously, it crashed, and the rest is history from that point. But at that time, talking about that, no one wanted to hear it.
Mhm.
The majority of people didn't want to hear it, and I'm like, I'm feeling like I'm throwing out so much energy into the space. Hey, guys, watch, look at this.
Yeah.
Don't get too caught up here. This is probably not the time. No one wanted to hear it, and then you just feel really drained and depleted, and then it
So
affected my own trading and investing
yeah,
because of that.
so on that
My own
point,
fault.
yeah, so on
Yep.
that point, I mean, I wanna anchor back to this. So, Chris was the one who posted that first Wyckoff, the first time I ever saw a Wyckoff chart. And the thing that just killed me was he had it. He was right. He was sharing the information, and his audience grilled him. The hate that was coming
MM
in the
Crypto,
comments of
Chris,
that
or a
video.
different Chris?
Yeah, Crypto. So, he posted that video. I saw it. I'm sure a lot of other people saw it, but the
Ah,
overall sentiment was just like, oh, this guy was a bull and now he's a bear. Like, I'm done with this. Like,
yeah.
it was so negative, but it was enough. And so that was the thing. I don't know if he took the video down, but he posted another video almost immediately that was like, forget that, guys, we're going to the moon. Like, he just got back on the
Mm.
bandwagon. And that's when I was done with him. And a lot of other people that, like you're describing, people didn't want to hear anything that went contrary to where they had invested, and I feel that too. You buy into something and goddamn, that has got to go, right? And if you hear anyone telling you to the negative, it's like, oh, I'm not even going to invite that possibility in, that might have been a mistake, or I might be over leveraged. So when I posted my Wyckoff video, it was because I was reaching out with the chart and a write-up and all of this information it was probably 5 different people in the space that I directly emailed that had their YouTube channels. They were crypto YouTubers, people I've been watching, people that you've seen. I mean, I was reaching out and saying, hey guys, pay attention to this. This is like, I think this is a big deal. And nobody wanted to hear it. I never even heard back, not even like a thank you for sharing. That's interesting. Just like silence.
Did you see
And
them use that information?
what's that?
Did you see those channels use the information that you
Well,
sent?
so then I made my video just because no one big was taking it seriously, and I made the video just to send to like my immediate friends and family who I had gotten into crypto or had a relationship with,
Mm.
and it was to just like share to them what I think was going to happen and why. And so, that video was out on YouTube for about a month before things did crash. And then by whatever stroke of luck, that was the video that kind of got, the algorithm chose it miraculously. And now that was the answer to why everything was crashing. And then, yeah, a lot of people that had previously ignored it when everything was down, like people were hungry to know why. They wanted like that narrative. And I think my channel and my just overall sentiment, it does a lot better when things are down and people want to know why than when things are
Mhm.
going up and people are, FOMOing into things or overextending and they just don't want to hear it. So yeah, I mean, I think, and I made a video about this at one point as well. Like, it's easy to point our finger at the whales and the manipulators and the exchanges and the market makers and say like, oh, you did a bad thing on me, like it's your fault. And then you can say, well, wait a minute, I did that because this guy over here on YouTube told me that this was a once in a lifetime generational opportunity to make God money and 100x, blah, blah, blah. It's his fault. Well, wait a minute. He's only doing that because when he tells me the truth, I'm not listening. So the finger comes back around, and it's really, it's
Every time.
our responsibility to be, yeah, seeking truth, not, fulfilling the narrative that we want. And at the end of the day, a lot of people got hurt in crypto. There was a lot of, pain and suffering in this market cycle, as there always is. There's a lot of fortunes made too. Like, those are the stories that you're going to continue to hear. The kid that bought Dogecoin and sold it for $2 million. Like, that's what keeps people coming back to the casino, right? The guy in the billboard that won the car. But for the rest of us, I think that there is responsibility in what we're watching and what we're willing to believe. And I don't know that it's possible. I mean, in the beginning, I thought it was possible to kind of change the culture here, to change crypto culture and, elevate
Uh,
the
it
discourse. And in
takes
the
a
end,
lot of energy,
yeah,
and look, we're speaking very openly and about our experiences in the market and what we believe the market to be. And you mentioned just a second ago, your channel does better when the market's going down and you sort of attract that sort of person. I was attracting that. Maybe I still do. I don't know. And the audience, the guys, viewers, they'll know what's going on. Well, they'll feel whatever they need to feel, and they stick around or they don't. In terms of investing, that was something that I kept trying to push. It was always pushing. Like I push a bit. I don't want to keep going that path of pushing this view, because at the end of the day, people are going to receive what they want. They're going to hear what they want, just like you experience with crypto. But in terms of investing, I didn't understand the market psychology of a new market being cryptocurrency. Like we talked about earlier, it's very, very, very naive. Most people have never even put money into any sort of other investment. And so it's still very new to them. When, you've probably read a fair few investment books now, and, you're getting the feel for it. And so I'm just coming back to that feel of your audience. It's always better when it's negative or, the market's down. As an investor, when you learn and you read from it, it's about being cautious all the time. All being an investor is cautious and managing risk. That's not fun. That's not sexy. It's nothing that crypto promotes itself to be. And so when you try to actually deliver real information like that, no one wants to watch that. It's not fun. It's not sexy. It's not moon and Lambos. The few people will want to see that, and then they're the ones who will survive, and they're the ones who will make it. We're not all going to make it. That's pretty straightforward. It's that's trading facts. 90% of people, 80% of people just will never make it because they're not willing to put in the time. Like it's a study of a lifetime to get into investing, which is exactly what we're here, talking about the whys and, why we're here, why we're doing this. I love investing, and why I got into it, because I could see that it would be something that would benefit me long-term, financially and emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I can get all of those things from investing. And so it's just a nice endeavor for life. Like the journey never ends.
Yeah. And I think that if you, like you've done, stay true to that, and
it's tough,
and you'll attract the I mean,
on YouTube.
we were talking about this, before we started recording, but
Yeah.
I mean, it is exceedingly hard for a content creator to put their heart out there and to deliver quality and value when the algorithms themselves are programmed to drive the most clicks, the most ad dollars. And so sensationalism, sexiness, Lamborghinis, like that is what is that is what is surfacing to the top.
Hope.
However,
hope is like always there. I need
sure.
hope.
Yeah, but I mean, this, hearing you talk, and even beforehand, you kind of revealed a few cards that you are very concerned about, the audience and their reception of the content. Yet when you have these moments, like I've heard a couple times in this conversation, the deeper reasons why you're here, what it does for you in your life, like that might not be sexy, but that's genuine. And it's better to attract, in my opinion, this is just like how I'm approaching this. I would rather have the 10 people on my channel, 10 people that resonate and get something and feel it, and walk away having their lives just kind of enriched because of something I've done, than try to please 200,000 people that came for a certain reason or a certain point in time. And that's hard, because if you're making money on YouTube, if that's your job, you have a fiscal responsibility to be a profitable business. But I don't know. I encourage you to continue to find that balance, as you've done, where the content you're creating is not for your audience, it's for you. Because it's how you feel, it's what you believe, it's your experience, it's your story, and it's your way of connecting with the people that resonate with you. It's not just feeding the beast and being complicit, I guess, in this story that at the end of the day benefits people other than us exponentially more than it's ever going to benefit us. And that's my little soapbox. That's sort of what I'm trying to figure out right now. Cause you asked me like, what am I doing on my channel? And, I'm talking about crypto less and less. Cause for me, the crypto is the people, it's the audience. And then I know when I post a video and I just feel like the last video I posted was crypto, and I felt noticeably bad because of it. Not because the content wasn't good, but just because I didn't feel that it was actually furthering anything really useful. It was just like I knew I was playing the algorithm. I was using like keywords. I was kind of making like a crypto video I knew that would be well received. And I just didn't feel good about it. Versus, the next couple videos I'm going to post, I know it's going to get 1/10 of the views of a crypto video. And I know that there's going to be a whole bunch of people in the comments that say like, this is not what we're coming for. This isn't what we want. But there's going to be 1 or 2 people that say like, that was so powerful for me. Like I wasn't expecting that in my morning and now my day has changed. Thank you for that. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep staying on the right side of wrong and just do everything wrong that I can on YouTube, because at the end of the day, if it's not feeding us as creators, like in that spiritual sense or in that deep down sense, then I don't know that it's really worth, for me at least, it's not worth
doing it.
investing energy there. You
Yeah.
can't please everyone.
No. And I know from my journey, it's been testing the limits of that. Like, how far can I go on that end of, I call it clickbait, whatever. I know I get that comment quite often with different titles. I'm like, I'm testing the algorithm because I also enjoy that game, but I also want that content to be valuable, and I want the right people to be seeing it, and I want more people to be seeing it, because the comment that I get from often people I see, I live on the Gold Coast, and someone almost every day or every other day, someone will say, "Thank you so much for your content. I love that video. That's helped me out so much. Keep going." Some people will say, "I wish I found you sooner." I'm like, well, how could they have found me sooner if I'm all the way down the search engine just putting out stuff that isn't gonna, YouTube's not gonna favor this. So it's a tough balance, but that's part of being on the journey here. So yeah, it's definitely, you got to do stuff that you love, but there's so many people. I wish I would have found you sooner, and they didn't find me because they've been blasted with Crypto. No offense to Crypto, he's doing his own journey in life, but they're seeing that stuff and they're seeing the Bit Boys and they're seeing all this. It's just feeding so much garbage, and then you don't see any of the quality stuff. So I don't know what the balance is there, but then you also got to get through the algorithm and give that information that's actually gonna work, and then you have to deliver it in a way that more people can understand it, and then they enjoy it and they find something from it, and that just keeps them going to learn more.
Yeah, and the way the algorithm is the bouncer, and it's only letting a certain kind of rowdy person through the door, and you have to be like, "Yo, I'm rowdy. I'm here to party. Let's do this." And then when you get in, you're like, "Here's my leaflet. Here's my zine. Here's what you really need to know about how this all works." And I guess for me, like, I feel that conversations like this, and even if it was only a flash in the pan for me in the crypto sphere, I hope that I don't know, like it propagated a certain perspective and it changed the dialogue enough that there is more honesty and there is more thinking twice before just going for that easy buck. As a new crypto YouTuber, new creator, I think the ones that stay true, maybe you have to play the algorithm, you got to play the game, but stay true to that humanity and not take those easy, enticing, quick paths to money. I mean, all it takes is whoring the affiliate links and selling someone a coin that
I'll get
then
some
gets
comments
dumped
about
on the
that.
next day.
The coin's a
Well,
different thing. I totally
well,
get the coin. Like, that's just
sure, but I'm
whoring.
saying like the people that maintain integrity in this space, I have to believe in my heart of hearts that the longevity is there, and that there'll be a million that just come and go that are, leading people down the path of ruin. I think again, the finger points back to who's sitting in the chair, who's clicking the button, who's watching the video. And maybe that lesson will just never be learned. But I think that I hope that there's enough people that can start to see their own responsibility here, and that we are the gatekeepers of what we put into our brains. And we're the ones that are actively selecting the information. And I think the people that are coming from their heart center with the best interests for the audience, like, that is picked up on. Those are the people that have the audiences. I mean, early on when my channel was getting kind of found, it wasn't just organic. It wasn't just YouTube. It was actually a lot of these other people that had amazing communities that were, had integrity. Coins Kid, that was one of the first other people that, shared my content, my channel, and then his audience started coming over, and they were amazing people, and they brought more people with them. So there's these pockets of really good humans that are, elevating the dialogue. And
I think that's the path that you should go down a bit more, because, talking to you and what I'm hearing is like, we're hoping for a better society and a better future and a better, crypto space. And then we're hoping for this. And so when that message is put out, that's the sort of people we keep attracting, people who are just sort of like grasping to the possibility, but coming at it from an end of maybe of lack. Whereas like, go from the other direction. And I've done that path a lot. And I'm like, I also think that there's the possibility of things are really good, and I believe they're really good, and I want to attract the people who know that it's really good, and they're on that journey there. So you kind of, you uplift other people, you uplift yourself, and then it allows you to have that good energy exchange, so you can continue to create, positive, inspiring content that suits you, that goes towards your journey and to the others. If does that make sense?
no, I think that's a beautiful sentiment. I mean, I think that's really profound. I mean, it's the community itself, right? Like and I feel like the crypto community, as it was discussed, maybe meant something a little bit different, a couple of years ago. Now that there's such an influx of people, like, it's a much broader community. There's different pockets and cliques, but growing that community and having those connections and having conversations like this, which, I mean, the only reason I'm doing this is because you reached out, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I will talk to anyone at any time and just, share opinions, and there's no like motive or agenda in it. But I think that has a net effect of, elevating what is good about this space, which, I mean, there is a lot of good here. There's a lot of good people. And even if some of our, greed and fear is being accelerated or misguided, it is part of our quest, I think, as a people on this planet, to see a future that we're actually excited about. And crypto has that opportunity. People come here in droves because of that hope. And there's lots of projects that are trying to, actually fix problems in the world using these technologies. And if we can step away from the casino aspect for a little bit and really put our time and attention into those things, this could really be an avenue where progress is made. So, yeah.
I guess people could put their time into those projects, learn about them, and not necessarily have to speculate or gamble on them, but I don't know, learn how to market those projects, learn how to help them just have a better roadmap or get better exposure or do something on their development team, as opposed to investing their time into finding what the next 100x altcoin is. That's not really benefiting anyone, because once that's over and you go through that process, that, it's another whole job on its own, and you realize it's not for you. You've done one thing and you've realized that's not for you, and you can go and do other things in life. But there are other alternatives in the space to be making money, to be getting out of any sort of work or job that's not fulfilling to you.
Yeah, and then this space is evolving so quick that there's, investment DAOs, and there's NFT projects that aren't just I don't know, there's a lot of shady shit going on with NFT projects, but there's some people that are really seeing the possibilities of that technology and applying it towards real world impact. I think that NFTs are a really powerful tool for nonprofits and fundraisers and artists, obviously. But there's a lot to sink your teeth into here. It's just unfortunate that we're all coming in, or most of us are coming in with the, the lights and the flashing, noisy,
See, I
gambling
would flip that.
tables and
I'd flip that and say it's not unfortunate. That's kind of like the language and the space that we go to. I'm like, it's not necessarily unfortunate because, maybe they find people come. That's how I came. And then you find out there are other areas in the space. So I don't know. I go, it's fortunate that people are now able to expose themselves to more than what's beyond what they do in their current lives. And they can see that there are other potentials out there to get involved and maybe earn a full income and just go and do their own thing,
yeah. I guess for my experience, the reality of the person who has done that is a lot fewer and far between the myth that's out there all over the place. And I've just seen a lot more people engage with, the uneducated trading side. And so, yeah, if it gets us all into this bigger conversation, that's where I keep coming back. I keep coming back to crypto because the people are here. And the people are hungry. They're hungry for hope. They're hungry for a better future. They're hungry for personal freedom. And if it's just bringing us all together to have those conversations, that's great. And collectively, it's every one of our responsibility to learn those lessons and to start pointing that focus in places that are improving the quality of life for more than just ourselves. Crypto has that potential. There's people out there that are, telling that story and engaging in those activities. And that could be the way that we all are winners from this.
We're
But
all going to make it from this.
we're going to
There
make
is something for everyone if you have a purpose or, a goal in mind. But if you come just trying to make money, it's not tangible enough to, to stick it out and find where the other avenues are. And, yes, I agree. There are a lot of people that just come to try and trade. And unfortunately, it's not going to work out for a lot of them. I put together a trading course, so I'm, you could say I'm shooting myself in the foot here, but my purpose for that was to have a longer term view and how to understand the cycles, buy low, sell high. It's so easily said. But when I put together my course, I have Wyckoff accumulations, Wyckoff distributions. Don't look at it on the daily. It's a weekly sort of thing for crypto, maybe a monthly for bigger stock market or something. It's an older market because it moves slower. But if you can just put a few of those things down to keep it in a plan for your investments, you're going to do so much better than 99% of the people. So you can make it in that regard. But if you're trying to come in for quick riches, that's not going to be for the majority of people. And we've seen it time and time again. As for the jobs, look at these people, Philippines and, developing countries that are involved in NFT projects now that are working online, earning more than what they can for their regular hourly wages. I know it's not going to be everyone's going to have something, but there is a lot of possibility now, especially in this next cycle compared to what we saw in 2017. 2017 was basically, pump and dumps, huge pump and dumps. And now there's a lot more involved that could stick around a lot longer.
Yeah.
I think we're
One of my favorite movies is Rounders, the poker movie with Edward Norton and who's the main guy there? Anyway, there's a scene that I always think about where Kanish is just this guy. I mean, he's a poker player. He's a rounder. He just makes a little bit of money a night, but that's how he's paying for his kids to go to college. That's how he's eating. And he's like, it's not glamorous. You show up, you play conservative, that's work compared to the kid who comes in oh, I'm going to make it big. I'm going to bet it all on this one, game. I'm going to go to the World Series. And in a way, the people that I think I respect the most in this space are the ones that have been around long enough and have found a niche. They found, their method of trading, and it's, a little bit every day over days and days and days and days and months. Or it's the inverse. It's the people that are able to say, you know what, this is a great time to buy Bitcoin. I'm going to buy it and I'm not going to look at it again for 6 months. And those people also have a pretty good time. It's just that, getting sucked in and getting the glamour and trying to take your big shot. Those stories rarely have happy endings. And yeah, I think we need less Lambos and more, yeah, more humanity.
I mean, look, I was out yesterday afternoon just to inspire a little bit more hope again. I was just playing with my daughter at the park. She's running around. Another guy is there, and they're always like, "Oh, I've seen your videos." They're playing with their kids in the park as well, and the story doesn't always go like we see the Lambo, this, that, the other. You get win it big, throw it all down. I'm going to be good. The story that I often hear is people who have started, they put a bit in, they haven't known what they're doing. They lose a bit, but it's not like they're throwing in their entire life savings and it goes wrong, but they're learning the lessons along the way. Maybe that's the people that I attract, and they're like, sweet, I found something I can learn a few simple steps on how to protect myself and not lose everything in this one hit and hope Lambo dream. So I think it does come down to the communities, and sure, we do hear a lot of people just blow everything. I mean, I look at life and it's like, look, we're all here for our own purpose and our own lessons, and hopefully we learn from them. And we get the opportunity to do it better next time. And I definitely saw that for 2017. I was hitting and hoping for a few of them. End of the cycle came, and it was the fear of USDT going down. It was the only one at the time. So it's like, well, I've got all these profits. What am I going to do with it? I can't put in USDT because if that fails and I've got nothing, how about I just throw it into some ICOs? I'll get paid later. And obviously 2018 comes and everything tanks. So all of that's gone. And so like all these profits that are made from 2017, they go in the, ICOs, which are still promising dreams. I still see their discords and they're still at zero. They're all gone. And USDT continues to remain. And obviously that story has gone around again and again and again. And so all we're trying to do is just say, hey guys, remember history. It happens time and time again. These altcoins, most of them, they're going to boom, they're going to bust. Watch them against their values. It's just do the unsexy stuff. It'll make life uncomplicated, and you will be out the other end, and you can go and use those tangible dollars to go and have fun. The fun isn't about playing gambling online with a whole bunch of people you have no idea who they are on Twitter. The fun is getting those profits and going to do something in real life with. I mean, that's my take on the whole situation.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, if this isn't translating to real experience and connection with the people that you care about and feeling great, in your life, then look in the mirror and ask that question, what do I really value? And is this really driving it? Because then you might, crypto is then a tool. It's like a paintbrush that you can use to create this vision of the future that you want. It's just, it's not very good food in and of itself. It can leave you with some pretty bad indigestion, especially if you're, basing your personal, value on unrealized gains in a highly volatile market.
Definitely the unrealized gains. You don't like talking about price so much, and it is what it is. But the Wyckoff pattern, I saw one that you talked about the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I could sort of see that happening, especially with these pumps that are coming, and then looking at that in terms of the psychology that's going on in the market again. And that reminded me of 2017 when we dumped, 2018 with the bear market, dumped, and we bounced up, and everyone got super excited. We're going back to 50. Well, at the time we're going back to 20 grand, and we'll aim for 40 or 50 grand. And now we're seeing that bounce again. Wyckoff, it doesn't seem like we're there yet. And to you, we haven't had enough time to bleed.
I mean, I just look at it at this point, again, it's not the what, it's the why. And I think the big event has happened, taking something from $3,000 up to $60,000 and then distributing it. That takes a certain level of narrative and excitement that happens at the beginning of a bull market, that, we have these built into Bitcoin, that it's a known cycle. And you take that just, heady excitement. And like we were talking about, I mean, I came into crypto and I was pulling money out of every place that wasn't nailed down. And a lot of people were as well. And now that we've had so many cycles, we've learned so many lessons, like that overall interest, even with crypto.com, Super Bowl ads and everything else, the overall sentiment is one that acknowledges we're on the backside of, not one, but two recent all-time highs. And I personally, if I'm the one that's providing this market, I don't see as much rationale for it going up and up and up and up, while I don't hold as much of it as I can possibly get. I see all of these moves that we've made as being, here's the first big distribution and then an accumulation that matches. And then we had a reaccumulation, redistribution, and then we came back down and we're sort of like having this little bounce. But each of those is in proportion to what can be moved. You go from $3,000 to $60,000. That's a ton of energy and excitement. And then in these smaller moves, like, yeah, we can get enough kind of momentary interest or buzz to kind of elevate the price now to this top and then distribute again. But I feel like what the market, and I could be totally wrong, and I might be totally wrong. And that's the fun part about this, is that, I've been here for just about a year and people are taking the things that I'm saying, super serious. Like, that's literally, we are speculating on speculation from people who in some cases aren't even qualified to speculate. That's what's driving these prices. So with that in mind, I think what this market wants to do is it wants to get to a place where we've had enough time of real consolidation that when the narrative changes again, we can sustain buying to bring prices up to those $100,000 marks, the 150,000. What everyone is expecting in this cycle, I think that is possible, but I don't see it coming after so many dissipative events. Those waves keep getting smaller and smaller. And that's not to say that price couldn't shoot back up and go to all-time highs, but the cycle itself, there's power in a cycle.
I'd say
And
the likelihood of it happening is less. It could happen, but
yeah,
unless it has that energy accumulated, you're not going to shoot a rocket to the moon. It needs time. That I remember starting to talk about the price in those sort of terms, looking at the humans and the people coming in, the psychology of the market, because that's what economics is, how people are interacting with assets and exchanging their energy and their money. But the new person coming in, it's a weird concept, especially when you're used to, or you're programmed to continue to watch the news and ask, "Oh, why? Oh, it's because the Fed is raising rates. That's why we're going down." Or it's because they're printing more money. That's why we're going up. I'm like, sure, there are causes and other reasons, of course, that have to come out at certain times, but the cycle is the cycle. And I think you hinted to that before, that's what you would place as the top priority. Where are we in the cycle? And then everything else comes underneath that.
Yeah, when you watch mainstream news, you're watching NBC or CNBC or whatever, and they have positive news about crypto. When you hear that, just hear the large interests are ready to sell you crypto. That's what it means.
The hard part
And-
as well is that we heard that at 30K and then it drops and then it keeps going up. And you're like, man, I missed from 30 to 60.
But my point is, when you hear a narrative about how good of an investment something is, that's because the people who have already got there are ready to sell it to you. And when you hear, oh, they're going to ban crypto, oh, Tether's going to collapse, like all of these things, that means it's a great time to buy crypto, because that is when the cause is built for, a huge move back up. Without the cause, there's no, I mean, it is what it is. It's a cause. It's the reason to go up higher. And the market isn't
So
just going up because these are like super rare, scarce, everybody needs it. It's going up because there are interests that are making a ton of money by bringing that price up and then selling. It's a
So
market.
it's relating the news to the cycle, to the psychology, and not the other way around. Not this news is happening, therefore we're in this cycle. It's like, no, the cycle is bearish at the moment, and everything that's happening is going to play into that, rather than, this news is happening, that news is happening, and that's trying to cause the cycle.
I
Does that
think
make
it's
sense?
all, I mean, I
It's
think
all
it's all related. And the fact that you see these, and it's not just in crypto, it's in the stock market and large and small cycles. Like this
cycles
is
within
a
cycles.
cycles within cycles. And I remember hearing early on someone saying like, it's not tell me the news, I'll tell you the price. It's I'll draw you the chart. It's show me the chart and I'll tell you what the news is going to
The
be.
news. Yeah.
Like, the news is driving the cycles. YouTube is driving the cycles. It's not, they're not separate. It's all one statement, and it's all there to have people buy and sell an asset, and for people that are in the know to make a lot of money. And that could be you, that could be, an
Which is
average
why we look at
individual.
the accumulation or the distribution to get a better idea of what the smart money is doing. Or at least that's the way I see it. And I've used it reasonably successfully over the years, because you can pretty much see what they're doing, especially when it comes towards the end of the cycle and what they're trying to feed you in the news to say it's really bearish, yet the lows are getting higher and higher because the supply is running out. And so they're like, we still haven't accumulated enough. Let's keep pumping out this really fearful news, get it as fearful as possible. Oh, lows are coming up. Lows are coming up. It's time. It's time to take off, which is usually why it breaks out in such strong fashion. Like we saw on Ethereum, we saw it on Bitcoin as they started to break out. It's just a rinse and repeat. I think we both agree on that one.
Yeah.
Nothing more to add there.
Yeah.
What do you do with?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what do you do with altcoins? Do you trade those, knowing what you know?
So like I said, when the bull run was in full run, I had spreadsheets of all the different things I had across different exchanges, and certain things you can only buy over here, and trying to manage this portfolio that had a lot of different opportunity in it. And at that point, I was trying to adhere to the concept of have most of your holdings in the blue chips, and then just kind of put these small bets on these other things that look like they're going to take off. And there's definitely a way to play the altcoin game, and I have a lot of friends that are still doing that successfully. And things tend to rotate, right? So if Bitcoin kind of lifts off and then it kind of stalls, money's kind of flowing out of one thing into another. But I mean, this is kind of my underlying theme here is I came to crypto with this real kind of stars in my eyes optimism. And now that I see it as a market that, I mean, that's great, but my interest is not in spending a ton of time researching altcoins. And like, it just doesn't make me happy. I don't feel good. And, if I spend even if I spend an hour looking at charts, I just, for me personally, just who I am, that is not how I want to be spending my time. So, on the tail end of this whole story, I think that there will be places and times that I will use the knowledge that I have gained to, play some of these different games, and to hopefully have a good little profitable excursion in them. But I am not like, I'm probably spending, gosh, at times it's like maybe 10 minutes a week really looking at crypto. And
What
then
are you
it's only
playing the
when
games for? Like,
what's
why do you
that?
want to play the games? Why do you want to play the games in
Well,
terms of buying,
well,
selling the altcoins?
that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I know that that's there, and it's always there. It's just not enticing to me because it's not how I like spending my time. I'm less driven by making money from having to ride that emotional roller coaster of, I don't know. I mean, trading is an emotional thing. It evokes these different responses, and I just don't think I'm a very pleasant person when I am tied to my trades, especially when they're from things that are a little more speculative or have. I've just been focusing on Bitcoin because Bitcoin tells the story. It's unfortunate because there's a lot of great projects. There's a lot of things that really should be independently just doing their own thing. but I've seen it and I've actually participated in it where, all the technicals for these projects that I really like were all set up. They were all great. Things had consolidated. We were in a zone that was like, things were ready to just squeeze and blast off, but then Bitcoin goes down. So it doesn't matter. And you got to wait a whole nother cycle or who knows how long for it to get back into a good position. And so, yeah, I just don't have the interest in being that tied to, all of the pieces, parts. So my answer to your question is, I still hold, a variety of things, but I am not making spreadsheets of like what crazy 3-letter acronyms I'm going to go chase down next. And I really discourage the rest of you from doing the same. It's just.
So you look at it from a fundamental perspective first, rather than a technical being charts.
Well, I think
When you search
things
for an
like,
altcoin at those times.
well, at those times it was, I don't know, with altcoins, I kind of lump anything that's not like in the top 5 into like altcoins, or even the top 3, like anything that isn't
Bitcoin or Ether.
Yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then you can kind of argue about what comes in those next slots. There's a difference between, say, Cardano or anything that's kind of competing for that, top 5 spot. And then what, we were seeing a lot of, or at least I was seeing a lot of, friends getting into these really obscure projects that might have cool teams. The fundamentals are there in it being plausible technology that has a target and a market and whatnot. But I think being kind of out of phase of the cycle and the fact that we are speculating about what is everything going to do next makes it a lot harder to confidently move into those smaller capped projects, because you are at the mercy of the overall market direction. And if, a lot of people I see in the space, that they're really hopeful for like another alt season, that Bitcoin is just going to be gracious and grant us with another swing at, I know blockchain backer who I really like, I really respect him, but I just know he is just waiting for XRP to do the damn thing that it was supposed to do. And so there's that like kind of, holding on to that hope that, oh man, these altcoins are going to get another chance to go. But
because I missed out on the last time to sell.
I missed out on the last time, and then it was
There's
right
not enough
there.
suckers. There's not enough suckers back yet to take the bags off you. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
I look at it, I go to charts first, then fundamentals, because the fundamentals, look, I'm not the greatest at it because I don't focus my whole attention. But for most people, they take their emotions. You get into the fundamentals and it's there to build up your hopes and your dreams with all the different things that the project should do. Whereas if you can bring it to the chart, then you can just easily wipe the emotion off it and you go, what does that chart look like? Has it got an accumulation period or not? Is it dumping or is it not? And that I know offends a lot of people. It offends a lot of viewers because they're emotionally invested in those projects. Solana was one of the most recent ones, which I publicly looked at selling. I said, I bought in low, I sold at these high profits. I think the project's still going down. The chart doesn't look good. And you just get so much kickback from the online community that, it was the most, you better watch out because it's going to overtake Ethereum and, you're an idiot because you like Cardano more. I'm like, I don't like any of them more. It's just a chart to me. And I enjoy that process of learning about the charts and how to read it. Like, what are the smart money doing?
Yeah, I have some friends who are really candid on this topic and just like, they're all shit. It's all shit. It doesn't do anything.
All shit coins.
It's all shit coins. And to some extent, that kind of plays into what you're saying with like, you look at the chart and that same friend has some pretty great analogies. He looks at these charts like hillsides with sheep on them. And so what he's doing is he's just looking like, where have the sheep not eaten yet? That's where I'm going to go kind of, get ready, because it always happens that like, oh, the word's out, the grass is here. Everyone's coming, eating the grass. And then everyone's selling it off. And it's like, so if you see something that has gone on a run like that and is on the backside of something, it doesn't matter how great the project team is, what the outlook is, the use of the product, like the sheep have been there. They've been fed. They're looking for the next thing. And so the goal is to get ahead of the sheep and kind of dispassionately, shear them and be on to the next thing. And I think that's what, a lot of crypto, you just see that. You just see how it's a lot of the same money is just rotating through these different projects. And it was Solana one week, and then the next week, Luna was doing something, and then the next week it was something else. But it's
Avalanche
rare
of
that,
this and that.
yeah, but it's rare that, everything is up at once. That's why they kind of take turns. And, if you might really like, insert whatever coin or project here, but like that, yeah, at the end of the day, hopefully, yeah, I am hopeful. These projects are independent of their stock price, right? Like that's the weird thing to me is in the stock market, in a way, the shares that you own represent the value of the company in a way, like there's earning statements, like you're kind of basing the valuation and the value of the stock in a way on something tangible, a company that's producing goods in the world. And in crypto, like you have really great projects, but they're all tokenized and traded such that they're not a reflection of the quality of the project or the quality of the team. In a lot of cases, they're like this funny money additional way of interfacing with these things. So, and I actually, my opinions are mixed about Cardano, but Charles is one of those guys who's out there talking a lot. And I remember early on him saying like, I remember him saying like, I don't care what the price of ADA is, because it has nothing to do with our mission. Like that, it's not going to change our roadmap. It's not going to change. And he might be full of shit. He probably made, trillions of dollars. Who knows? But, that sentiment of the price does not dictate the future of what these things aim to do. The price is, the price of these coins, the market is just this really interesting effect where you have both the project and the technology and the company and the gambling and the speculation all in one place. And so, Solana is not going to go away. There's going to be all kinds of cool exchanges and NFT platforms and things on Solana. The price of Solana does not dictate the value, the actual value of it. And then it's just a matter of like waiting out these cycles and understanding that this is another feeding frenzy. It's really easy to buy and sell and trade all these things. And when it's done, it's done. And you might get another swing, maybe not. You might have to wait 4 years. Some things, I loved Ben Cowan's most recent video. He kind of did a video that I saw another person do that I really liked, where he was looking at in the same period of time in the past market cycles, what was in the top 10 on, coin market cap. And if you go back to like 2013 and those time periods, and then even recently as 2016, 2017, and 2018, like a lot of those projects you've just never heard of or have heard of again. And it's almost contrary to what I just said, but like they're all shit coins.
We sound so disillusioned by the whole thing and the experiences. But once I always try and relate it back to someone that's watching. If they've watched this far, they're going to be here. They're going to make it, I think. When it comes to those cryptos, like as you go through the different cycles, it does take away the emotions if you allow it to, and you can just get down to the roots. It's like, what am I here for? What do I enjoy about the space? I've obviously found my passion. You have your passion or your purpose, and it sounds like you're sort of finding your way towards that, because you still feel, by the sounds of it, quite disillusioned by the whole thing. Like, how can people be so stupid to fall for this time and time again? And then you
I
sort
did
of just
not
put
say
that.
Those are not my words.
You did not say that. You did not say that. That's the feeling. I've thought that.
I have empathy because it's so easy to fall for it, because it's right there and it's shiny, and it's you hear the stories of the people that have made lots of money. So it's not like just negativity for negativity's sake. It's just like you said, what is our real interest here? What are we looking for? And I personally,
why can't people do better? Why can't people do better? Why can't they see this? I mean, that's been my words.
I don't know. People love casinos, and this is just a big casino that's in your pocket all the time. And it feels great to win. It feels shitty to lose. And when you win, you come back again. And I like we've kind of gone around and around here. As people that are just online and sharing perspectives, I appreciate that you're just having open dialogue. You're sharing your true kind of views, and if someone wants to hate you for it, like that's not your responsibility. That's their responsibility. Because
Totally agree.
you are a purveyor of a certain perspective. It might be right or wrong. It's not about predictions. It's not about, telling people what the next move is that's going to make them money. It's just giving people that tool set so that they can go out and they can craft the future that they want. And, if it sounds like negativity, it's more just like, I don't know, if you say the same thing over and over long enough, it's like, it's been said, let's move on. Let's talk about some other things that are interesting. That's kind of my experience right now with crypto. And that's probably built into the cycle too, in when things
The
really are
boring
in a
part.
good place and it starts taking off and it's like, oh man, I'm prepared for this. I have been here before, bullhorns on. Like, I have no doubt that the sentiment, the way that we're feeling is from having just gone through this like jaggy, rocky, sustained now for the last cycles were only like, 3 or 4 months or whatever to the peak. And then, this has been like almost a year of kind of sustained.
I use the term like a party and you're going through the hangover.
Yeah.
But this cycle has been like an all weekend bender.
Like, oh, we're
It's been
still
up and
going.
down.
Oh, we're still
And
going.
it's like, yeah.
Didn't you see
And
the
it's
guy
like,
get
and we
drunk
just,
and fall off the piano last time? Like, he's up on the
yeah,
piano again. Dude, get down.
that was so funny. Yeah. And you got to take the hangover as we get out of it. It'll be time for the next party. And then people are going to come late to the party again, as it always is. And we go rinse and repeat. Do you reckon that's a good place to wrap it up? Rinse and repeat until the next time?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
And thank you to your audience, and I'll see
Thank you
you
to
out
you,
there.
your time. Links, description, likes, do all that if you want to. Don't do it, as Ryan would say.
Yeah,
Whatever makes YouTube happy.
Yeah, and you can link to the Crypto Garden YouTube channel as well. I'm trying to sort of separate, the pure crypto content. That's a good place for it to live versus, my last interview that I did was with a woman who wrote this book, The
Bring it
Lost
over the
Art
center.
of.
Yep, Lost Art of Dying.
So, I mean, these are like big, heavy topics, but these are the things that are interesting to me. And that's just what I'm going to keep getting on here and sharing. And the people that resonate will stick around, and those that don't will find your channel because you're doing a great job. Endorse me.
Thanks very much, man. See you guys at the next one. Cool. Till then, have more fun to get more done.